What's up guys, so I've got my in-depth Drytron deck guide for you here today. This deck is really great. I think it's amazing. It's worth picking up. Just came out in Genesis Impactors and it's going to be meta. It's just so good at doing what it does, and yeah, it's just nice to have a different kind of deck meta for once, I think. So yeah, we're definitely going to see it make some waves here in the TCG just as it has in the OCG. Deck list is going to be down in the description, so go down there and download it if you want to try it out, and make sure to leave me a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more great content like this. But let's get on to the Drytron monsters. So to start off with the main deck Drytron monsters, we're going to be playing 3 of Drytron Ban Alpha, 3 of Drytron Delta Arteis, 1 of Drytron Beta Rastaban, 3 Drytron Gamma Eltanin, and 3 Drytron Zeta Aldebar. They've got such mad names. This deck is hilarious. I love the artwork there. But anyway, yeah, so all of the Drytron monsters are Nomi monsters, which basically means they can't be normal or summoned or set, and they all must be special summoned with a Drytron card. Now they all can be special summoned by attributing a ritual or Drytron monster from your hand or field, and they can be special summoned from the graveyard or hand, and then they will have a secondary effect when they're summoned. Now if you use this effect, you are locked into special summoning Nomi monsters, so you can normal summon regular monsters, but you can't special summon the same turn you're using that effect. So Alpha, when it's special summoned, will search a ritual monster. Beta will turn a banished Drytron to the graveyard. Delta will allow you to reveal a ritual spell or ritual monster to draw a card. Gamma will allow you to special summon another Drytron from the graveyard that has 2000 attack and 0 defense, which is basically just a regular main deck non-ritual ones. And Zeta will search a ritual spell. So they're all pretty good, which is why we play them all at 3. Beta is the worst. I only replay it for the name, but you could cut it if you want to, but I do like having that extra name because just the ability to tribute is very nice. I would definitely say Alpha is probably the best in most situations. After that, it's probably Gamma or Zeta that you're going to be wanting to see most of the time. So if you are searching, you're usually going to want Alpha. Now moving on from that, we do play 1 of each of the Drytron ritual monsters. So Drytron Meteoronus Draconids, this one is focused on monsters, so monsters can't target this with monster effects. It can attack all special summon monsters your opponent controls once, and during your opponent's turn, banish monsters from your graveyard whose attack equals 2000 or 4000, and then target and send cards to the graveyard your opponent controls for every 2000 attack that you banished. So basically, if you banish 4000 attack, you can send 2 cards to the graveyard. Really nice monster. I don't go into it all that often, but I just think it's worth having just because of that ability to clear boards. But it's just because this deck is so good at link spam that you usually are going to be OTKing with your Borrow Sword or slanking your extra deck as opposed to this, but nice option to have. We then play Drytron Meteoronus Quarantined. So this is the one focused on spells. Your opponent can't target this with spell traps or effects. Now if you're summoning this with level 2 or lower monsters only, so basically the other Drytrons, you can destroy all spell and traps your opponent's control, and when this card is destroyed, it can special summon Drytrons from your graveyard whose attack equals 4000. So again, this one I do go into very often just because it's your only inbuilt back row removal, which is really nice. It means you don't even need to go into your extra deck to get to your back row removal, which is really great. We then play a little bit of a fairy package in this deck, so 3 Cyber Angel Ben 10, 1 Cyber Angel Natasha, and 1 Vantage Ruler. Now the reason why I play this is because Cyber Angels love being tributed, which means they synergize amazingly well with the Drytrons and basically give you 3 free special summons as a result of that. So Cyber Angel Ben 10 has the ability to search another light fairy when it's tributed. So what you'll do is you'll use your Drytron, tribute Cyber Angel Ben 10, you'll get a Drytron on field and you'll get another Ben 10, which you can use to tribute again over and over again, which is really lovely. Now Cyber Angel Natasha, this card is amazing. It's got so many good effects, and it's funny because it's been locked in such a terrible archetype, unfortunately, Cyber Angels, which is one of my favorite archetypes incidentally, but now Drytrons have allowed it to really come into its own. So on field, target a monster, face a monster you control, gain LP equal to half its attack. Just a nice effect to have. Also, if a ritual monster you control is a target for an attack, you can negate the attack. This is not once per turn or anything, so if you've got an Natasha on the field, unless your opponent has removal, it's not leaving, which is really great. But what makes this card so busted is if it's in the graveyard, banish the Cyber Angel monster from your graveyard, target a monster your opponent controls, special summon this card, and then take control of that monster. So great, non once per turn change of heart. I mean, It's just insane, and this is again what makes the deck so good at link spamming, because you can just bring out your Drytrons really easy, keep summoning Natashas because you can do it 3 times because you've got 3 Ben 10s that will be in your graveyard, and just dismantle their board and then go into something nuts. Then we also play one Vanity's Ruler, very easy to search obviously, because if you can get to Ben 10 you can get to Ruler, and everything in your deck gets to Ben 10. I mean, you've got 3 alphas, you've got the Ben 10s which also search each other, you've got your Cyber Emergencies, you've got your Novas which get to it, you've got your Fafnir which gets to it, you've got your Preparation of Rites, everything in your deck gets to Ben 10, which means everything in your deck gets to Natasha and Ruler, which is really lovely. And Ruler just going to lock your opponent out of special summoning, which really does help you a lot. I definitely do think it is worth playing Ruler. I do play this as a going first build, by the way. Unfortunately, due to the format, it's just not worth going second at the moment, because the going first decks are just so good. If Dragon Buster comes out of the format, it might be more worth trying this deck as a go second, because they are so good at breaking apart boards and stuff. But for now, definitely it's going to be a going first deck. But anyway, yeah, moving on from that. So we're only playing 20 monsters, again, keeping the deck nice and compact, as close to 40 as possible. Now moving on to our spells and traps, we play 3 Drytron Fafnir. So this is basically Magical Meltdown, but for ritual monsters. So it stops your opponent negating your ritual spells and activated effects, which is nice. It also searches a Drytron spell or trap on activation, which is quite good. Now, it also has a third effect, which allows you to modulate the level of your opponent's monsters, or any monster on field, based on how much attack it has and stuff, which is an interesting effect. It's good for annoying a virtual world player, for example, when they try and make calamities, but by and large it won't come out much. But still, Fafnir is such a strong card. We play 2 of their ritual spell, very good, allows you to tribute Drytrons, basically any machine monster, to summon your ritual monsters, and then it also recycles itself, which is even better. So it's one of the best ritual spells we have. I only play it 2 just because it's so easily accessible and because it recycles itself so easily. Those 2 reasons mean it's just not worth bumping up to 3, but I don't want to play it at 1 just in case I do lose one because my opponent DD crows or whatever. But it is one of the best ritual spells in the game. Really do like this card. It's just everything about it is great. We then play 3 Drytron Nova, just emergency teleport for your Drytrons, basically a great card to have. And I play 1 Drytron Eclipse. So this is probably a card that I'll say that I'm still not 100% on. It allows you to recycle a Drytron from the graveyard, but its second effect is the main reason I play it. It allows you to bump up the attack of a Drytron monster you control by 2,000, which is just insane. I mean, it allows you to out so many threats. But it does occasionally brick. It's just that this deck is so good at generating hand advantage, which is weird for a ritual deck when you think about it. But yeah, this deck is so good at generating hand advantage and search and stuff, that having 1 dead card in my hand is usually not that relevant, which is why I can afford to play it, I think. But if you want Yunkai, I'm keeping it in my profile though. But anyway, yeah, moving on from that, we then play 3 Cyber Emergency, searches all your Drytron, so really no reason to not play it, so great card. And then 3 Preparation of Rites for searching those Ben 10s and recycling those Meteor Drytrons. So after that, it's just kind of generic good cards in the main deck. So Tactical Talents, Upstart Goblin, Called by, and Terraforming. So you could play more hand traps, for example. You don't have to play talents. This is just what seemed to be the best for me, but really there are quite a few other options you could play if you really wanted to, but that's what I like at the moment. So yeah, keeping it down, basically 39 card deck, very good, very consistent. And you're pretty much always going to be hitting that first turn board of Vanity's Ruler on the board, or Appaloosa plus Vanity's Ruler on the board. It's very easy, and then OTKing your opponent the turn after that, which is really good. But let's get into that main deck. So only playing Link monsters. This deck isn't good at XYZ summoning because there's not that many good XYZ rank 1s, unfortunately. But anyway, yeah, so we play 1 Link Sandmine, 1 Link Aribo, really just for getting our Drytrons in the graveyard after we summon them. Then we play 2 Cross Sheep, very easy card to summon. And then what's great about it is that your Natasha, when she brings herself back from the graveyard, she can trigger that Cross Sheep to just sweep, just cycle through your deck, dump cards on the graveyard. And if your Drytrons go to the graveyard, it doesn't matter because you can just summon them back out for free, which is really nice. We then play 1 IP Masquerena, great card of course, 1 Hit Shinigan, just another generic Link 2, and then the 3 Nightmares. Again, you have so much Link fodder and so much discard fodder that it's really worth playing these. I also play 1 Ningirsu. This is a recent addition because I actually had so much space in my extra deck. I was playing Lambda originally, but then I took out Lambda because I actually don't think Cyframe Lord, the Gamma package is worth it in this deck, just because Driver does lock you out of using your Drytron effects, unfortunately, so it just wasn't worth playing it. So I'm playing Ningirsu instead. We play the 1 Appaloosa, Very easy to go into in this deck. Play the access code toolkit, again easy to go into. Broadsword, which is the main kind of card that I'm going to be using to end my games. You'll see in the replays I bring Broadsword out most games and just close out the game when they don't realize what's happening, because my opponent doesn't realize until it's too late that Natasha can keep stealing cards. Then I just make Broadsword and game them. But with them we've also got the 1 Avramax, which is good for protecting your Vanity's Ruler, or it's good for just kind of sitting on as a big monster. And then this Omega, this is really an empty slot. Like I said, I used to play the Gamma package in this deck, but I just didn't think it was worth it. So this is really an empty slot. You can fit whatever you want. I would probably just double up on one of my Nightmares or something. I would say that's probably, in my opinion, the best usage of the extra slot, unless there's another card you want to play. But I would say when that Link 5 comes out, I can't remember what it's called, but it lets you use one of your opponent's monsters as link materials. That is another good option, again, because just so often you'll have loads and loads of link material on the field to link up into. So that is the main Ansai and extra deck. I don't play any Halka Frybax combos or anything in this deck. I don't think it needs it. It's just so good at doing what it does that I think you're risking a lot by playing bricks to stuff Halka Frybax and all that nonsense. Just kind of keep it simple, stupid, move into your link monsters, OTK your opponent. Simple as. I don't want any bricks in my hand. This deck doesn't brick often, but I want to kind of keep it like that. I don't want to make it more bricky by having to add like 1 or 2 random cards that might brick occasionally. But anyway, yeah, moving on to the extra deck. So this deck doesn't use its normal summon, so we can play 2 of the best side deck cards that I love. When I used to play Pendulums, I would play these ones all the time, because if you don't need your normal summon, these are, in my opinion, 2 of the best side deck cards. So 3 Sphere Mode, 3 Denko Sekka. Yeah, Denko Sekka shuts down back row decks. They're just screwed unless they have a Solemn. Sphere Mode destroys any deck that puts out a ridiculous board. And what's really great, obviously, is you're going first deck, so you will know if you're going to be siding in that Sphere Mode, if you need it or not. We then play 3 Lance here just because it is quite frustrating to be against decks like Virtual World at the moment, decks like Dragon Link. A lot of different decks have the ability to banish cards, and that does screw you a bit. You do have Beta to kind of recycle cards, but in general you just don't want to deal with that, so Lance here is nice. We've got 3 Lightning Storm, 3 Evening Match, just generic removal. I would say that this deck, because it's so efficient at OTKing and it's so efficient at breaking apart boards, I don't really ever feel like I need specific outs to anything. I feel like having those generic outs is just going to be good enough most of the time. But yeah, that is my Drytron in-depth deck profile. I really like this deck, definitely think it's worth trying. So look, if you guys want to see more Drytron content, make sure to show me a lot of love on this video, and I'll definitely be releasing some more during this week. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I will talk to you all later, guys. Peace.